Hello, product people. Welcome to the Product for Product podcast, hosted by Matt Green, data advocate and product manager, and Moshe Mikanovsky, product leader and author. Our goal is to serve the product community by helping you find products that can help make your work in product management easier. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Product for Product podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode, Moshe and I are taking a look at first principles and beyond for product managers in the age of AI. So let's dive in. How you doing, Moshe?
I am good. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yes, our topic today. This is an interesting one. We are actually debating what to call it. So we,
Yeah,
we just landed at
right.
first principle and beyond in the age of AI. But maybe we should tell our audience what the why behind it.
Right.
Why are we talking about this?
Yep.
And that will lead us into the topics, and this might become a series. We're not sure yet how many episodes this is going to be.
Yep. Well, quite open-ended. But
Yeah.
yeah, this one sprang to mind for me because obviously with AI, it's so easy to rush to solutioning and coming up with something. We could talk about on the show, like you and I have both built things and worked with vibe coding to all the way to like some sort of production level application. So it's just so quick to do and so easy to do that I don't want product managers in the community to forget about things like first principles and thinking about like it doesn't have to be the super complex thing. What's sometimes the simplest is sometimes the best. And
Mhm.
so I want to think about these things to be mindful of like let's not forget our main tool set.
Yeah, yeah. And to me it's really about the same thing. What usually we know how I was untrusting to the AI, and
Yeah,
I still question it.
question it. Yeah.
I still question it, but I have moved a long way since then.
Right.
Mainly because I have no choice, that's where the world is going. But also, I do see the value in it in many places, and
Hmm.
many of the models improved.
Right.
There are still hallucinations and stuff like that, but there is definitely a lot of value in there, and I've seen and we talked with many guests that found value, built value, etc. But what I've seen throughout, our discussions in the last year, especially, but maybe even more than that, is that some people, not our guests are really good at understanding those principles,
Hmm.
but maybe it's my own fear. I'm not really sure what it is, but there is this confusion between the job that we have to do and the tools
Hmm.
that we are using. And like any job out there, there is, those first principles of the job.
Hmm.
What is it that we are creating that need us, versus what are the tools that we're using? And there is always a question, can the tools replace us?
Right.
So first principles, maybe we can answer those questions to say, well, can an AI replace this?
That's it. I think that that's a key part of this because if you go on any sort of social media, there's a level of FOMO. I think there's two things to it. There's a fear of missing out on like, oh my gosh, like it's constant AI is changing so quickly. If I don't adopt, I'm gonna get replaced. Then
Hmm.
there's also like I don't trust AI. I don't want to use it at all.
Hmm.
Like I don't want to change my process. There's got to be a Goldilocks zone of some sort to where you use a little bit of it, but you also keep grounded in like let me just think about this as a human
Yes.
and focus on first principles. Like observe where you're at.
Yeah.
What reality are you in? You have to keep in mind the AI is not in your world. It's not. It does not understand all the emotional intelligence, all the key components us as humans experience.
Yes.
And I think
But
that's so
with
critical.
swarms of AIs, agents,
Hmm.
and with the way that they grow and the way that they improve over time, um, who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows? And that's why you have to stay. That's why you have to stay up to speed, but also keep a foot in reality. I think like
Hmm.
stay tethered to reality of what is important
Hmm.
to me, to the business.
Hmm.
Eventually, yeah, agents could swarm around and figure it all out. But I mean, we've talked about too, does a human need to be in the loop at all times somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is there ever a world where agents are just running around doing things autonomously and creating havoc potentially?
Hmm. Now, this discussion goes way bigger than just product managers and
Hmm.
what we do, because every position out there, people are worried, is this going to replace them or not?
Right.
And even the physical jobs, maybe today AI will not replace them, but eventually, if they're a robot good enough to do what they do, maybe it will, right?
Yep.
So, like chefs, is AI going to replace chefs? Maybe it will replace them eventually with a swarm of robots that are making the food and a swarm of AI agents that are inventing new recipes. I don't know.
Right.
And maybe also a swarm of robots that are tasting them and,
Absolutely.
and
I have this
critiquing them.
conversation.
Well, maybe I'm going too far with that. But
I have a conversation with my daughter about this. I mean, she's going to be growing up in this AI driven world. She's like, I could be a lawyer, I could be a psychologist, or things like that. And I'm like, I don't know. In a world in the future, 10, 15 years, could AI be your psychologist? People already are using it in that way. Is it going to run around fixing an air conditioning unit? Is it going to run around fixing your toilet? Like, these are not glamorous jobs, but these are the jobs that like you have to think about. And so I think going back to, I guess, again, first principles, whether you're a product manager or somebody else, you have to observe the reality and figure out what is most important because
Mhm,
everything's going to be very complex. You got to like keep it simple.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. So when we started preparing for this episode series, we were thinking about, okay, so how do we structure it exactly?
Yeah. Yep.
You all know I love structure, so to me it was, but I'm going against my grain here a bit with, I'm not sure yet. We we were talking about what are the first principles of product management, and there are some that we can definitely mention. But then also, I had in mind maybe to work through our process of what we do, all the way from ideation to monitoring and iterating on our product, and then see what is our job to be done in each one of them, and
Right.
in that job to be done to see is there a place there for us as humans, or
Hmm.
what is the first principle of that job to be done, right?
Right. Right.
So that could be one way.
Yep.
You had also other ideas, right?
I kind of keep going back to being grounded. So I thought we could frame the episodes in this series around what is most important to where can the human come into the loop? Like where can we make the impact?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not every step of the way as we've always done as product managers. Maybe there's some of those spaces have gotten tighter to where we can have AI can create a document for us. AI can plug into Jira and pull together tickets and do things like that and monitor backlogs. But like, where do we want to focus our attention span in the future? And keeping things in mind of my job as a product manager is always to deliver value to the customer and to the business. And how can AI empower me to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the spirit I think of I want for either this episode or the series is to be around that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think it goes pretty well with that job to be done. What is
Yeah.
our job to be done in each step? But it focuses more, and I like it, on the human aspect and on the aspect of the value that we are creating versus the value that AI can create.
Yeah, because I think I'm picking at that because there's a lot of turbulence in the product management job market. Where can I as a human deliver value to the community, to the world these days with AI? Because I've been writing a lot about moats and companies having moats. You have a data moat, you got workflow moats. Like how is a company going to protect itself in the future? But how does a professional protect themselves in the future? Where do they find opportunity to come in and say, hey, if you want to be a consultant and come in and say, hey, I can deliver value that you can't get out of the box with a large language model.
Hmm.
because people are always going to say, well, I'll just ask ChatGPT for it. Why would I ask you for it? You're like, well, I present a different value proposition.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I think that's kind of where I'm trying to frame this as well.
Mm, mm, yeah. And a lot of people in our industry and a lot of the leaders and thought leaders are talking about it.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking maybe we should try to bring some of them to
Yeah.
the pod to speak about that. But another thought I had was, if we try to follow the way Marty Kagan breaks down inspired to product, process, and people,
Hmm.
and then seeing each one of them, where does AI take place, and where do we need still to be the person in the loop and drive those first principles from that. So that was another thought I had maybe on how to structure it.
Oh, and we were also thinking about tools, obviously with the product for product. Our
Yes.
focus is like what tools and when to use those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a lot about it. We had a series about AI tools recently this year.
Yeah,
And it's really interesting because I think we are the first and only podcast that talked about tools to
I think
product people.
so. Yep.
And now everyone is talking about AI, forgetting that AI is really a tool. So
Right.
what everyone is talking about is tools for product people. And so
But yeah,
so they caught up finally.
they did. They
They
did.
did. Now we're
Yeah.
moving kind of like into trying to find that gap between the tools and the person and the
Right.
people to understand, what is it that we're still need to do. And I think that in the past, before, the emergence of the AI, it was clear. And that's why no one talked about it. And we
Yeah.
found that gap to say, okay, people don't talk about it, so let's us talk about this. Because it was clear we're using Jira or other product for managing our tickets. We're using different products to build our roadmap. We're using different products to do our A/B testing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
Hmm.
Now AI kind of blurred everything, mixed up everything. People
Hmm.
are still using these products, but they're using AI to navigate through all of them,
Hmm.
plus new things that AI can do. And now everyone loves to speak about it because it's still so new and everyone is trying to figure it out and to make sense of it. But at the end of the day, they're talking about tools.
Yeah.
And that's also, I think, is another why we're doing this, why we're talking
Right.
about this. Because we know that there are the people, us, behind it. And it's not just that we want to keep our jobs for the future, but we want to make sense of our jobs and in this day and age and what will be the future. And to say this is where we should really focus our jobs on to separate us from the tools. And this is where the tools can still help us and maybe make our job much easier or much better or much more
Hmm.
productive or creating much more value.
Because I mean, I'm even thinking about it. You can record a customer interview. Things can be said in that interview. You either have a AI on the call that digests it, the summary, and then you could take technically they just connected it to Jira, connected to Confluence, create the PRD, create all the tickets you need to build
Yeah.
work on, and then but like at the end of the day, like you could do all that, but are you understanding like the why? I guess my thing like that. Oh, that was so easy. Like what am I gonna do now? Are you being intentional about
Yeah.
it?
And that also brings up another thing that I think we kind of mentioned. I don't know if it's clear as those words or not, but the differentiation of bad product manager versus a good product manager,
Hmm. Yeah.
where and maybe even more clear the that notorious product owner job title. Because if you're a product owner and all you do is create tickets and give them to the team, that's not product management.
Yeah.
And that's a job that definitely AI should have replaced you already by.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're a product manager and you do that, then your, work definition is very bad and your
Hmm.
company don't understand what product management is. But if you can have AI do it for you and you're really focused on the why, on the strategy, on empathy to your users, on empathy to your stakeholders
Hmm.
and getting all of that context in the right way, then you probably will build a good product.
And even with prototyping, like you can do prototyping so much easier now. Get on a call with a customer, get instant feedback. Then you can create tickets from that. Do you run the risk of like overcomplicating things? Because humans love to make things more complex than they need to be. And now you have a race car can make everything possible. You're like, well, I'll just do this and I'll do this and I'll do this. And
Yes.
it's like, does that really what the customer wanted? They asked for a button.
Yes.
Oh, well, I can do all these other cool things too. So
But
yeah,
there is also a reason why they ask for the button. So
yeah,
that's the job to understand what is that.
right. So yeah, so
Why
that's the
did they
thing,
ask
like
for the button?
keeping it simple. And that's why, again, going back to first principles, just say like, where are you and what are the things you're trying to solve? Understanding that is like critical. And then focusing on that and not trying to like build bigger and beyond out of the box immediately. I think keeping focus on value is most important.
Yeah. This make me think about product sense. And product sense to
Mm.
me was always a very elusive definition
Hmm.
because, yeah, I think I have product sense. I always thought I have product sense. Well, what does that even mean, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't know if there is an actual definition for what product sense is. I think some people try to define it. Maybe we can search and see what people are saying. But let's say we understand what it means, or we think
yeah.
what it
We
means
assume, yeah.
subjectively, right?
To each their own, yeah, right.
Exactly. I think that's what it is,
Hmm.
what you just mentioned. And it maybe product sense is all of those first principles. I don't know.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is experience of seeing a lot of things working, see a lot of things not working, failing a
Hmm.
lot with many different things, and then understanding the domain that you're trying to solve to, having empathy to that domain, keep learning and working in that domain with the people of that domain. That domain could be a swarm of agents, right?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
you might be solving to developers, you might be building stuff for people that are using AI agents, right?
Right.
But it doesn't really matter what that domain is. The domain is changing all the time. And you can't just say, okay, I know the domain, so I can build whatever I want with that, and it will just work because things are changing over time, especially now with what everyone is building with AI. So that product sense is probably that elusive definition that we're looking for of what a person that is a product manager is the person in the loop in that case. And maybe what the future is going to be for us. Are we still going to work with human product team, or there is going to be an AI product team that we work with, or a combination of both, or I don't know. It's a very
What you said, you said experience, and what popped in my head was the experience of opening anything from Apple. Obviously, that's a hardware product, but like I'm wondering, like an agent, I'm gonna say this. I don't think an agent could design the unboxing experience of Apple products and opening them up, from a design
actually
perspective.
I would disagree with that.
You really?
And I'm the AI opponent over here.
I think it would I would think it would overdo it.
I will. Oh, I see. I will tell you why I would disagree with that. Maybe because there are so many videos out there that show people
Okay. True.
unboxing that you can create a model for
True.
the AI
Okay.
to look at all of those videos and to see what delight people and what are they saying and talking about, and
Yeah.
then design a new for a new product something that will help them create the same delight or much closer to that delight.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Is that going to be a novel thing? Probably not, because it
Yeah.
relies on all of
Well,
that.
it's already copied somebody else.
Exactly.
So
And that's
I guess is what I'm going back. Johnny Ive
right.
designed it. Like I'm
Right.
going back to the beginning, like
So
before they could
you're
model
speaking
this.
about creativity and new ideas.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what product sense. Like like
So
coming
to
up with
you, that
someone
was product
new.
sense is?
yeah, Product Sense is coming up with something new like what excites me about product has always been creating something that never existed before.
Interesting. Interesting. Because I don't think about product sense at all like that.
Okay.
Because to me, and that actually annoyed me in the past
Mm-hmm.
in some jobs and job descriptions that I saw for product people,
Mm-hmm.
that they expect the product manager to come with new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think necessarily this is the job of the product manager. I don't think it's a first principle to the product manager to be creative and an artist because it could be art sometimes. I think the product manager need to bring enough context to the team, and the team together could come up with those ideas and creative ideas to do things. And it can come from anyone in the team. It doesn't have to be the product manager. And it's not necessarily should be, I don't think it should be in the job description of the product manager that if you don't have patents or new, things that are new and never created
No,
before, then you're a bad product manager,
yeah, it shouldn't
or
be
we
a
should
job.
let you go, or we should
It should
let you.
not be a job description to create something that never existed before. And you should always have a team to do it.
Mhm.
I'm just going back from a first principles perspective. It's like understand your reality, test your assumptions, and then try to create a new reality. So like
Sure, no,
even if
you're
you add
right.
a new button
I
to
understand.
something,
Yes,
yeah, even if you add a new button somewhere, you're creating a new reality of some sort for
I
somebody
understand. Yeah.
to do a new workflow.
But to me, a product sense is really about understanding what works and what not, finding all of those edge
I guess,
cases,
yeah,
seeing if users are actually going to get stuck or not, understanding that there are multiple people, multiple personas, many things like that to me is product sense. Because product has so many things involved in it.
right,
It's not just the interface. It's not just the backend. It's not just the one user that go through a happy path. It's
right,
not just so there's a lot of things going on in the product. That's what product sense to me is.
yeah.
And that's why I started saying that it's
We
a
need
very elusive definition
we need to
because
ask AI and say what AI says.
everyone, well, I don't, I want to see where
What
AI
does
gets
everybody?
its
Yeah,
sources from. I want to see
yeah, exactly.
those thought leaders that what they're saying and to see do I agree to that or not and whether they have a real definition for it or
And
not.
maybe it's all of the above. I don't know. I guess it's when I've heard product sense, it's somebody that can come in and reinvent something, reignite something, and you don't do it in a vacuum. You don't come in, you're not the savior. It's you come in and you can reignite a team that's already thought about something. Somebody might have already had an idea, and you start to pick at it, and you
Yeah,
go, okay, let's pick at this new idea. This is something very cool. Like, why has no one talked about this? And so it doesn't have to be a aha moment of like, or like, I know it all. It's just, yeah, I think because it's so ambiguous and it can mean different things to different people. Clearly, you and I have a bit different idea of it, but I don't think we're that far. Like,
yeah.
I think it
I,
could be all of that.
I think this is why also when you look at AI generated images and videos, you that was generated by AI with not human help in the middle, you will recognize them as AI and you will know was probably generated by AI, mainly because they are not really new. They are based on all of
Right.
those models and everything that was created in the past. So would AI be able to create a whole new art form and stuff like that, or not? That will still go under your definition of
Yeah. And you're pulling me back to some of the things I've been doing, side projects and things like building applications. And like it was modeling workflows off whatever it was trained on.
yeah.
So it was like, oh, I know what a workflow is supposed to look like. It's a WYSIWYG, drag and drop, user interface, so it already had a predetermined like path.
But
And
maybe
so
that's not a bad thing
it's
because
not, it's a baseline. But then
and
I go,
sometimes you want
but
to create something familiar in those areas so it's easier to use, right?
right. And then that it's a baseline. And then the product sense comes in and I go, I've seen workflows like this work or not work. And then that's where you come in and sculpt it and start to like really give your product sense.
But you see, that's your experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So experience is really important in
So that's
building a
what you're
product
pulling me
sense.
back. You're pulling me in back into your space. This
Yeah,
is good. This is a good balance. So
yeah,
I think
exactly.
it could be, I think maybe it's all the above in some sense.
Yeah. So I don't know if we got to any specific conclusion in this episode, this first episode, I think, of this series about how we will build it. And maybe we can put a survey out there for
That's what
our
I was
audience
thinking. Yeah, it might be
to,
learn from the audience to
to
see
ask
what.
them what they would like to hear about. But I like the idea of human-centered because that's really what it is about.
Yeah.
So how can what is human in us in and maybe it's a combination of what is human in us in the jobs that we have to do, the job to be done,
Hmm. Yeah.
or the outcomes we're trying to get that we believe we need to focus on that AI cannot or will not replace, or we or should not. Even if it can try to replace them, maybe it shouldn't replace them. That's the first thing. And we can definitely, list some first principles as we go,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
I don't know if we have a specific list right now of first principles, but I think we mentioned a few things like empathy, to our users and to our stakeholders.
Hmm.
I think that is, would you define it as a first principle?
Yeah, I think so because if you lack the empathy for your customer, you're not going to understand them. I don't think. Yeah, I think you have to have empathy for the people you're building things for.
Hmm.
If you're working in an area that you know well, again, experience, human experience. If you've done this before and it sucked, you're going to be like, I empathize with you because I did this and it sucked, and I want to make it better. That's where a lot of entrepreneurs come from, right? I mean, I found a problem that was a problem for me, and I know it's a problem for other people. Let me create a solution for it,
Hmm.
and I think
Hmm.
that's born out of empathy.
Yeah. So I was just I was asking in my head, what is even the meaning of first principle?
Yeah.
And I've done it in the past. I just couldn't really remember it. So first principle thinking is a problem-solving frameworks that breaks complex ideas into their most basic, undeniable truth.
Hmm.
So I think what we have to maybe look for is those undeniable truth in our complex ideas, right?
Right.
So the ideas here, we know we need to create value, we need to make it viable for the company. We are trying to build products that in a complex world with a complex environment of building products. Mostly we're talking digital products that is ever changing and is very complex because there are many, many different variables. But what are those undeniable truths for for us? And when I say us, usually I mean product managers, but I'm sure that developers and designers would also benefit from that. They probably have their own undeniable truth, but I want to focus, of course, on the product people.
Maybe we could work to unpack that.
Mhm. So maybe our next episode should be about what are our undeniable truth for product managers that and that's the first principles, right?
Yeah. Right. I think that, yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. And we should probably involve our audience for that, ask them and see what they're saying about it, because as we see, there is a lot of subjective things and a lot of
Yeah.
different way to think about things. And probably we could come up with some more cohesive ideas that
Right.
we didn't think about.
Again, it's a human experience. I love that you said that because it is like, but everybody has a different lived experience. Probably some core things that we could like cluster together, but there are probably going to be some outliers in there, I would assume,
Hmm.
for some people that have experienced things that maybe you and I haven't.
Yeah.
So I think that sounds really good. And I'd love to involve the audience as well. That'd be
Hmm.
great.
Amazing.
Perfect.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah, this is great.
Hmm.
And this is a great episode and great ideation experience, a bit of a brainstorming experience, something different for us. So,
Yes.
well, sounds good. Well, thank you, Moshe, and thank you to all the listeners. And we'll talk to everybody soon on the new series to come.
Amazing. Thank you, Matt. Take care.
Thank you to all the listeners. We really appreciate the feedback and support. Please leave us a review to help others find the show on Apple or Spotify or anywhere else you're listening to the show.